how I feel in here is what I bring to the world and how I show up. And even on a business side, whether I'm buyer, seller, or working in the office, things like that, my self-worth is critical.
Okay, awesome. Today, we're so excited to have a quick visit and chat with my good friend, Keith Faria. He joins us, I guess, been licensed now since 2009, late 2009.
Way back there.
Go, still going strong. Originally started his real estate career with REMAX, and we're proud to have him here with REMAX River City. And, when you and I were chatting about doing a video and what you can contribute, and you're telling me a bit about your story, I thought it's very relatable to a lot of the agents that we speak with, and
Awesome.
a lot of the new agents that I meet with, they're concerned, right? And I think a big message of our conversation will be perseverance, right? Keep doing it, keep working, and then you'll see success. And so why don't you take me back to when you first started? I know it wasn't always rainbows and sunshines, right? So tell me a little bit about how you got going.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting time. I think even looking back at 2009, I don't think economically we were very strong in our province, but yeah, got licensed. A dear friend encouraged, thought I had the skills and the abilities to do really well in this business, and so I went and took the course, kind of just because I didn't really have any interest in real estate actually prior to, like to being a realtor. Sorry, I purchased some investment properties and things like that before I got licensed, but I never thought I'd be a realtor. Fast forward, then I of course went and got the course and joined REMAX, and I was off and running.
Now you started off right in a team model, right, as a team member, correct?
Yeah.
And then tell me about your first couple of years. How many deals did you do?
Yeah, not many. It was tricky. I joined a team because I thought, why don't I was actually I wasn't very confident to be an independent agent, brand new. I did not know a whole lot about business. I didn't know a whole lot about this side of real estate. And so I thought, okay, why don't I join a team where maybe I can do more transactions, learn from the other people on the team, and those types of things, just to improve my, maybe fast track my journey a little bit.
Sure.
My results, the results were not there. I learned a lot. I learned a lot from being on that team. It was a dynamic where there were many team members, and it was a lead gen system. It was a bit of a referral system, but mostly lead gen, I think. And the leads just do not trickle down to the 12th or 15th guy on the totem pole. And so I was on my own. I did have a tremendous mentor on the team who kind of took me under his wing and tried to help me out. And so I was able to still learn a lot, but I didn't do a lot of transactions. I want to say in my first year, I did one transaction. In my second year, I think I did 3. And I don't remember my third year, but it was still single digits. It was not a lot. And that, I probably don't have to tell you, was incredibly difficult.
Sure. Was it your full-time job?
It was full-time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, I committed. I was all in, and I was wearing suits and coming to the office and doing what I had to do, to try and build a business. I didn't know how to build a business. I didn't know how to build my database. I didn't know how to do any of that. And so I relied very heavily on what the team was doing and what maybe following some of their lead and things like that. And so I had to, it's really starting from scratch.
Mm-hmm. And so, and interesting. It sounds like it probably wasn't something that resonated with you. It wasn't in line with your type of business, how you like to do business, and wasn't in line with your core values, maybe, right?
Yeah.
One thing I love to do, and I would highlight that we do have a fairly high failure rate in our business, and
Yeah.
you know, the NAR numbers is 13% last more than 5 years, right? And so, you know, sitting here today and say congratulations, you
Yeah.
mustered through that, and you gutted it out, and congratulations. And as
Yeah.
a celebratory feat, you tripled your business year over year in your first year. So way to sandbag that, and, you know,
That's
really
what I should have.
blow up. You blew up, man.
I should have
Because
started with that.
when we're
Yeah.
sitting doing your business plan right now, and if you're like, hey, I want to triple my business, I'm going to go, man, you crazy. So there's some work to
Yeah.
do. So congratulations. But
Thanks.
and so when we spoke, it was what, right around 2015. Like, obviously you weren't doing single digits all the way up until that time,
Yeah.
but something kind of just started to click in 2015 for you, where you, I would say,
Yeah.
you had a bit more of a breakthrough. Tell me about that.
Yeah. I would say that a couple things were happening around then. I certainly started to gain some traction on the team that I was still on. You know, work my way up, so to speak, like where I started to get some more leads and started to have some success that way. And so that was great, and that would certainly give me some confidence. The second thing that I started to do I started to do some work on myself, and up to that point, I had been doing some work on myself, but more on like a trauma healing sort of journey that I had been on, where I was kind of at the, you know, kind of at the front of what I was doing there. And so I decided that I wanted to level that up, and not only because I wanted to level up, but I also found myself running into some internal blocks, whether you know, confidence and things like that, that I wanted to sort of explore. And so I hired a coach at that point, and I can tell you for sure that that was a really big part of my growth over those few years as well.
Wonderful. The and then, so kind of retrospective, I guess, knowing what you know now, let's say, and
Yeah.
again, thanks for being vulnerable and sharing that you know, it's not always amazing and everything is super fun and exciting, and that it does take work, and it's not automatic, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people that I speak with can relate to that, and having times where things aren't going the way they expected it to. And so amazing that you persevered through that. Because I look at you and I see a successful real estate agent and someone who provides a lot of knowledge. And so knowing what you know now, what's maybe a couple things that you would have done differently had you started over again?
Yeah, I love that question. I mean, on the mental health front, just to finish that part, a lot of people say that I look like the happy-go-lucky, you know, successful guy and all of that kind of stuff. And a lot of times we don't know what's going on with people.
Yeah.
And I can tell you that my self-worth was just at an all-time low. And it was affecting my business, and I didn't know that, right? Like I go through my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on, sort of battling with that, and I don't understand. I couldn't connect it that it was affecting all these other areas of my life. And so, part of my answer to your question is that I may have decided to dive into that coaching, or dive into that therapy, or whatever it was for me, maybe earlier.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I didn't know, and so it just, it showed up for me in that way, and of course I'm grateful for it. On the real estate side, I think, what I would have done differently. I mean, it's interesting. I think I probably wouldn't have maybe waited as long. Like, I might not have grinded as long. to get some traction in this business. I think I might have made some changes sooner. I think, when I talk to realtors now that want to get into the business and they're taking the course and so on, I tell them things like have some money set aside, have a reserve fund of your own for those months and for those dips where you don't sell any homes, because for most realtors, it's a bit of a roller coaster ride at first, and I didn't know that. I wasn't prepared for that. And then the second thing I tell agents, brand new agents, is I would still recommend to still join a team, even though my team experience, like, it took a lot longer for me to start to do a lot of deals. I think a new agent can still get a lot of benefit from joining a team. It's just an opportunity to learn how to do all of this and learn how things work and how much money goes into it, how much time needs to be committed. And then also what do you do with a client? Not just turning the transaction, getting a sale or a purchase, but now what do I do with them after that? How do I make sure that they're being cared for in the right way? How do I build that relationship and do more? Again, a lot of that stuff, I feel like I would have liked to know how to do a lot of that stuff sooner. I think it would allow our new realtor an opportunity to do transactions and learn at the same time. Right. And as opposed to showing up into this business as an independent agent can be even trickier and again, take months and years to start to get that traction. So I think, I would either join a team or I would go find the busiest realtor in the office and say, hey, listen, whatever you need, I'm on it. Let me be your referral. Let me be the guy that does open houses. If you're too busy for something, call me. And my answer is yes.
Right.
That's the direction that I would take to get going.
Love that. So yeah. So number one, get your head right. Make sure you're, in the right space to, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
If there's no water in your glass, you can't fill up somebody else, right? Put the mask on your own self before you help others, right?
Yeah.
So make sure that you're in the right space to be able to serve, and then have a bit of reserve, right? Couple of months so that it's a bit of an ebb and flow of our business, right? Even when we do a transaction, it's people don't realize that we're the last party to get compensated on the transaction.
Yeah.
So from the start of a relationship to payday, it can easily take months, right? And so it's nice to manage through those bills, and that can be hard on a family, and it can be hard on just an individual having that ebb and flow. We could talk budget and financial management. We could spend a whole day on that conversation.
That's a whole other thing.
And then the third kind of real big takeaway that I heard is connect yourself with other like-minded people that are going to help elevate you. So mentorship and accountability buddy, or join a team. And I think just be boisterous and engage on the team. I think even though you didn't do a lot of transactions, you probably still learned a lot, so that as they started happening, it wasn't a stress or a struggle for you, right?
Yeah. And the other agents on the team were awesome. Like we had a terrific roster of agents that were very, very high performing.
Right.
And so I did get to learn a lot. I did get to sit in on calls and meetings and the different types of things that take place.
Yeah.
And so I was a sponge for sure. And even the team owner, the team lead was, a person who has had, he's a legend in the industry, and I learned a lot from him as well. And so it wasn't, the results weren't what I wanted, but I certainly was able to get a lot out of it.
Great. And then going forward, I know that we spoke yesterday, so I'll throw it on on the recording so that it's time capsuled, right? So what are you committed to doing going forward to make improvements and develop on your business?
Yeah, so what I like to do at least once a year is what I like to just call a self-audit. And I take a look at everything I'm doing, not just in my business, but also personally. and where are the holes in my boat? You know, what kind of feedback do I get from my clients? I do ask all of my clients for feedback as far as how am I doing? What could I be doing better? Things like that. And I'm okay to ask those questions, and you better believe I'm writing down all the answers. And you know, so I do a self audit in my business so that I can clean things up and do a better job. And as an example, one of the things that I'm doing this year and moving forward is removing some of the things that I've been doing, such as online lead generation, web leads, all of those types of things. I'm moving those out of my business. I would say close to 100%, so that I can have the time and space and energy to devote to the clients that I already have, so that I can be available to answer the phone, so that I can, client wants to see me tomorrow at 2 o'clock, I can say yes, because I'm not bogged down with some of the things that certainly work for a lot of agents, but in my business, it doesn't work for me, and I'm not getting the ROI that I was hoping for. But also listening to my clients. I have clients that don't mind telling me, hey, Keith, like, I'd like you to be around more. Right. And I got to listen. I got to hear that and go, okay, I'm on it. You know, I'll be around more. You know, let's do that. And so, so on a business side, I like to do a bit of a cleanse. I like to change 15 or 20% of my business every year. And on the personal side, I do something very similar. I take a look at what are my habits? What am I doing daily? How's my self-care? How's my routines? What am I doing? You know, same thing as an example for my mornings. I get up early. I'm at the gym very early. I'm at the gym usually around 6. I get my workout in before I take my guys to school. I've got my meditation. I've got all these different things that I do to take care of myself, so that I can show up, not just as a good businessman, a good realtor, but I can bring that to my kids and to my relationships and things like that. So these are the tweaks and changes that I make every year.
I love it. I'm making more of a point to ask folks, because you know, we're always like, are you making money, right? You're successful.
Yeah.
And are you happy?
That's the thing.
Are you happy? And so, are you happy, Keith?
I'm happy. Yeah.
Awesome, man. I'd love to hear that. Well, and honestly, I do really appreciate you sharing with me, and you know, with our audience, being a bit vulnerable. I know that that you've always been an open book for people to reach out. Mental health is a big issue for us in our industry and in the world kind of these days too. And so, you know, want another friend to reach out to, I'm sure Keith wouldn't mind at all. I know that just having our conversation before, you're very family focused, family first, right? Which is great. And this business gives you an opportunity to be able to be there for your family. You just have to choose how you manage your time, right? And I know that you've been able to do that, you know, over the years. And it's lovely to see that you're not stopping to adjust, you're continuing to adjust and massage your business. And it sounds like it's getting more in line with your core values as far as service and relationships over cold business and sales, right? And not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just, it suits your personality and it's going to fuel you a lot more. Wouldn't you agree?
Totally agree. I think I'm in a mindset of, I want to create a business model that works for me. I'm a dad, number one, and I want to be able to create and shape my business so that it allows me to still be a dad. Like you're either going to find me at the hockey rink or at the baseball diamond or whatever it is I need to be doing. And my business is able to work around my family rather than the other way around.
Love that.
And so, and I know there's a million ways to do this. This is just the way that I like to do it. And on the mental health front, it's such an important topic for me. And as you know, I do a lot of speaking on a lot of these different things. And I always remember a bunch of years ago, a broker, a REMAX colleague of mine, you know, he asked me one time, he's like, what do you think is like the number one key to success or failure in this business? And I said, self-worth, straight up, self-worth. And it's, to me, that in my healing journey and now in my growth creation journey, I'm learning that that's more true than ever, that, you know, how I feel in here is what I bring to the world and how I show up. And even on a business side, whether I'm, you know, buyer, seller, or working in the office, things like that, my self-worth is critical to be able to show up in this business and then be able to stay in this business. So it's huge.
Love that. Well, and just as a little bit of a sign off, and again, appreciate your time and insights. Have your new job title, I guess, would be Keith Faria, family man / realtor. Right?
That's right. In that order.
Put that in. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it very much. You're awesome. So again, reach out to Keith if you have any questions. He's an open book. He's happy to be an accountability partner for you, or just give insights on what's been working on his business, right? So hey, bless you, be well, and have a great day. Cheers.
My pleasure. You too. Thanks.